Alright, welcome back to the daily Leetcode problem in Swift. So, today's Leetcode problem is considered a little bit tricky. But anyways, we're gonna try to solve as much as we can. So, today's Leetcode problem is minimum move to make the array complementary. So, we are technically given an array of nums. So, every nums array that we receive will be in the even length. That means the array size will be always in the even numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8 or something. And then one more integer, which is a limit. So in one move, we can replace any integer from nums with another integer between 1 to the limit inclusive. So if I have to write that down, we have this number 1 as a base and then limit, which was given by the equation. So according to the constraint in here, the limit number we receive should be more than 1 for sure, because here is a constraint showing up. So it's technically greater than the 1. So, and then it's also greater than the value of the index of the num. That will be the limit. So the maximum number of the limit will be the 100,000. That means that is a great example of being time limit AC problem. So what we have to do is we need to make the array complementary. The complementary by all means is the array nums is complementary if all the indices index is equal to the same number. Okay, let's try to write down that in the simple English instead of trying to understand something else. So we are given like array 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do we make sure that array is complementary? So technically, how we can do is we cut off the array into half, because the array is an even number. And then we're going to compare like this number like this. And then these two numbers like this. So I'm going to change the color for the better understanding. So 2 plus 3 is 5, 4 plus 1 is 5. That means if all the addition of these perpendicular value of the even array are same, that array can consider complementary. So I hope that's helped you understand the question much better. So for the example 1, I could simply update the values in here. So 1, 2, 4, and 3. So that simply explains 2 plus 4 is 6. 1 plus 2 is 4. They are not the complementary at the moment. So our goal is to make a minimum move to make that array to become a complementary. So what is the move that we count? So in one move, we can change any index integer in the even array with the limitation of 1 up to the limit. So in here, we given like limit is a number 4. So we have two options here. So we're going to choose the smaller case, which is 4, and the larger case, which is 6. So if we will think about the both situation. Let's consider we take the 6 as our case. There's a simple way to change it. We just simply replace the 1 with 3. So 3 plus 3 will become the 6. And then that will become the complementary array. And then the move will be only 1, because we only need to change the one number at one time. So that's count the minimum move as 1. What if we don't want to change? We don't want to take the 6 as our target. How about we take the 4 as a target? So we definitely need to change in here. Since the limit is start from 1, I'm pretty sure we cannot change the number 2 to 0. that is not the option for us. So the option is we change the 4 to 2, which will be 2 plus 2 became 4. That's also a minimum of 1 move, and that solves our problem. So that's for the assignment 1. So for the assignment 2, let's think about like this. Okay, I'm gonna delete this for a while. And then we are given like 1, 2, 2, and 1. So in here, we need to think different case, because 2 plus 2 is 4 in here, 1 plus 1 is 2 in here. The same as the previous one, we need to take 1. We want to choose the minimum, or we want to take the maximum. So let's try to iteration through both minimum and maximum. Let's consider we are taking the 2 as our target. So how many moves we need to do? Since definitely we can change the 2 to the 0. So there's only one option. We replace the 2 with 1. So that makes the 2 plus 1 to 3 instead of 4. But that is still not solved our problem yet. We still need to replace that second 2 with 1. So which will make this 1 plus 1 become the 2. And that will make our array to become the complementary. And our minimum number of move become 2 in here. So that is what we take the minimum of our target with minimum. What if we take our target as 4? So the same approach, we can definitely change the number into the 3. Why? Because the limit here is 2. So we have limit from 1 to 2. So we can only replace our any indexes of the even array with 1 or 2. Just only 2 options. So how do we change that? So we change 1 into 2, 1 into 2. That total combination became the 4 in here, and that makes our array become the complementary, and our minimum move is 4. Sorry, not 4. Our minimum move is 2. Alright, so we have set out the assignment 1 and 2. So let's check the assignment 3 together. So the same approach we considered as before. Let's split the array from the half in here. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3. Since that array is already a complementary, we don't need any extra movement to do it. So that's why the output is 0. Alright, I hope that you guys do understand the problem first. Let's try to write in the brute force approach first. So what I'm going to need is the count. So will be the name sort count, because I don't want to count the nums array again and again throughout my problem. And then I'm gonna need the half of count. Why? Because according to the explanation in here, we only need the half of the array to do the iterative instead of like going from start to the end. That is the waste of the energy waste of the performance for us. So half of the count will be count divided by 2. And then we need to define the target limit. Let's call it target limit. So what exactly is the target limit? So if we are trying to go through all the problem in here, we need to think about what is the target limit we could have. Even though we have a limit number given here, we need to think for all the possible scenario. Like what if we need to change all the number inside here. So according to the assignment 1 and 2, we only think for the happy part. Happy part means we think for like, hey, there's only 2 numbers need to change. We change it, that solves the problem. But we never consider the worst case scenario. Like what if all the array in each even numbers need to change? So that is the worst case scenario. So to consider the worst case scenario, we just simply multiplying the limit with the 2. So which will give us more room for our limit, and then I'm gonna do is iteration through of the target in our base case is 2. Why start from the 2, not the 1? Because the constraint is already defined the 1 in here, so there is no chance for us to put in the 1 in the target for us. Also, there is no possible way for us to begin the 1 as a target because our limit already start at the 1, so 1 should never need to addition with the 0 to begin the target of 2. So that's why we are starting with from the target of 2, and then we will iteration to the target limit. So after the target limit, we have, let's use these two numbers as A and B. Let's call A. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, I need one more for loop because I want to move our given events numbers of array. What I mean by even numbers of array is even size of array, not even number inside that array, and that will be the 0 to the our half of count. Alright, and then we can do like nums of index that is the given in here, and we need the second arbitrary number, which is a b, and will be the count minus 1 minus index, that's b. So if both combinations are always the same, we don't need to do anything. That's what we wish for. So a plus b is equal to the target. We will move forward to the next step. Another case, if our target is greater than or equal to the minimum of a or b, we just want to take the minimum number. So in a and b, we need to find like which is the minimum number in here. Something like we find the minimum number to do the addition or subtraction from there. So we find like a and b, and then another case is target is less than or equal to maximum of a and a or b. And okay, I think we need to do the plus 1 here. The reason why I want to do the minimum to plus 1 is we are starting this index from 0. So if we start from 0, we're gonna need the addition of limit here. If these are correct, we're gonna move. I need one variable in here. That will be the move above the thing, and then move will be plus 1, and else we need to move 2. I hope that makes sense because we only have 2 options. Like we only need to replace the 1 number or 2 number. So that's the case. So if everything went well, after the iteration through the half of our array, we can just calculate our answer in here. Let's get one more variable called answer. That will be the mass of the integer. So I'm gonna get the minimum of answer and move. At the end, I just return the answer. So this is the brute approach. I think if we submit it, that we're likely to counter the time limit AC because we are doing a lot of operation in the nested for loop. Yep, as I expected, we only have a chance to pass the 108 test case. Okay, let's shift the gear from here, and how about we change our approach totally? Instead of trying to do the brute force way. So I'm gonna use the different array that will be the repeating of 0 and count of. We still need the double side of limit plus 2. So why plus 2 in here? So plus 2 came from the, okay, let's draw something here. We are given like limit of 4. Let's talk for the example 1, limit of 4. And then what I do in the past is limit multiplying by 2. That gives us total 8 number. So that is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that's what we got. But our index start from 0, not from 1. So we need to keep in mind that. So that's why we need to do the plus 1 mode. Plus 1 in here. So which will give an extra row to make a perpendicular starting from the index 1. After that, we need the 1 more index because we want to start from index 2 because it doesn't make sense for us to start from index 1. We are trying to do the comparison of the difference from left to right. I hope that answers why I'm doing the plus 2 in here. And I think I need this. Forgot to delete the. Okay, let's go half of count will be the count divided by 2. So index in 0 to half of count. So now we are trying to iteration of the half of count at the moment, the same as the previous approach, but we are not doing the nested for loop in here. We're gonna use the same way as a 2 arbitrary variable, which will be the names of index, which is given here. So the second arbitrary value, b, will be the names of count minus 1 minus index, which is exactly given in here. And then we're gonna need the low and high, which is the if-else condition from before. So let's calculate the low. That will be the minimum from A or B. Another is a high, the maximum from A and B. So after we get the low and high, we need sum. That will be A plus B. So which is going to give us the target is exactly same every single time we're trying to measure the perpendicular of the array. So let's start from the difference of index 2. Why index 2? As I mentioned before, since we are adding the arbitrary 2 plus 2 in here, so we start from here. So for the difference of 2, we will start think with the worst case scenario. Worst case is we need to do the 2 move. So I'm gonna do the plus 2 to here, and then the same. So that will be 2 into limit plus 1 minus equal to 2. So we are trying to measure the possible scenario of changing or replacing the 2 values inside our array. So the same is how about the mitigate scenario? So mitigate means we only need to move the 1 number. So that would be we need to move the low number of plus 1 minus 1 equal to 1. So we just need 1 number every time. Then for the high, if it is too high, we get an addition of the limit of plus 1 where we just move the 1 number. The last case is the best case scenario. So if our sum is exactly the same, we're going to deduct the minus 1 because we don't need to do anything. The same for the next number, minus. Shift the plus 1 will be the addition of the 1. So after we have moved every single time, so I just put the minus 1 here to visualize what is the different array look like for you guys. Oops, typo in here, should be the count. Okay, so all right, what I am doing here is I am trying to populate the possible scenario of everything in here. So in here it is mentioned like we need, the worst case is 3 move, and then we can consider this. So how do we get the actual answer from here? Let's use the answer very same as before, and integer of mass, and we need a move calculation in here. So let's do like target in start from 2, since we have an addition of extra 2 arbitrary here. We need to start the target in 2, and then 2 multiplied by limit. So that is the double of the limit as we consider in here. After that, what I want to do is I'm gonna iteration of the move count for every target that we populate in the P4. So the good thing is we have negative in here and positive in here. That will be, you know, like we can zero each other, like -1 and +1. So 2 -1, 2 +1 and 2 -1. So 1 become the 2, and then that will be the answer that I was expecting. And then in between that, what I want to do is I will just take the minimum from answer and move. So hope that get our final answer. Alright, if we try to submit it, I think that will be the O of n. Let's check together. So it is supposed to be the easy and straightforward if I explain the optimized version directly, but it is good to know like what is the thinking process from the iteration and brute force, and then we do the optimization and become the O of n plus limit, because we have an addition of limit here, and then same for the memory that is only depending on the limit because we are using the extra array based on the limit count. Alright, hope that answered your guys for today's Leetcode problem. And then thank you and see you in the next one. Bye.